So I think the takeaway we're going to have from anything that shoots in New York from now on is that if it shoots in New York, Spider-Man and Daredevil will both be rumored for the project regardless of what's happening, which does sort of make sense, I guess. You know, I can kind of see why these rumors are going to persist and why they're going to continue to live on up until we see the final end result product, because it just makes sense. And as many people continue to point out, if Marvel TV and ABC on Netflix could be able to pull it off among many shows, then doesn't the promise of Marvel Studios saying that all the films and TV shows on Disney Plus are going to interconnect and reference each other sort of lend a confirmation of such events happening in upcoming series? So logically, if Hawkeye is set in New York, wouldn't that make sense that if some other Marvel Studios characters showed up? Who it is, who could it be, how they show up, why, remains to be seen. You could fit many characters in there, from the Hulk, to Pepper Potts, to Miss Marvel, to Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Captain America and Winter Soldier, to obviously Spider-Man, who just stays in New York for most of his time. And again, one of the promises from Bob Iger and Kevin Feige was the fact that these series are not going to feel like they're separate universes. They said that the ability to cross over and the movie characters to appear on TV series and vice versa is something they're going after, because that's their goal, to make one universe that feels like anything can happen on the TV side and on the film side. So when rumors show up that maybe Spider-Man could show up in the upcoming Hawkeye series, I mean, why couldn't he, right? Other than maybe Sony and Avi Arad saying we don't want that because it devalues the character, but it really doesn't, right? So I think there's some legitimacy here of people saying, well, it's rumored, we don't know, we've heard a rumor here or there, or maybe they're working on something. I think there's some legitimacy there that could make sense. But the problem here is we don't know when the series take place, any of the series. Where after Endgame do they take place, and where is Spider-Man specifically going to take place? If Spider-Man is a small time jump and Hawkeye is like, let's say, a year or two after, then they probably don't want to spoil what happens with Spider-Man. So you don't want to touch upon that, so maybe he can't show up. And we know that Kevin Feige has said, look, we have to go back to the drawing board. We have to readjust some of the plans, references, Easter eggs, and storylines, because they would have spoiled other things due to what's happening around the planet. But I trust that they'll be able to figure it out. And if Spider-Man was set to appear in Hawkeye, he'll appear in it. Maybe in a different capacity than originally intended, but he will. I personally don't think he's appearing in it. I think he's going to remain on films for the foreseeable future up until a new contract and sharing of the character is worked out.